Lost in the Amazon rainforest, without any supplies and
I backpack all the time, so I find that this might just be relevant. I might be able to give some solid insight here.
the Sahara Desert, feeling the chill out in the frigid Arctic. I'm sure you've got plenty of ideas of how to take care of yourself, right? Well, forget them. They're probably completely wrong. In fact, they're more likely to leave you as a pile of bones in a ditch somewhere. So from peeing on a jellyfish sting to drinking that pee to stay hydrated,
Wait, I thought peeing on a jellyfish was like legit though. I thought you were supposed to do that.
here's some survival myths that could get you killed, and what you should really do to survive. Frostbite first aid. If you ever find yourself stuck outside in a cold climate, one of the biggest risks to your safety is frostbite.
Yep.
You've probably heard of it, but what exactly is it? Well, it's when a person's skin and the tissue underneath winds up freezing. It'll start out like a painful red patch, but if left untreated, will progress
All right, so just because your hands are turning red when you get cold does not mean you have frostbite. However, yes, it basically destroys the tissues of your skin.
and your skin will stiffen, numb, and go a sickly gray. In the very worst cases, it can even lead to tissue necrosis, which
Yep.
is where your skin literally dies. Ew. So if you've gotten cold enough to catch frostbite, you'll want to warm up pronto.
Oh, why didn't I think of that? Oh, just warm up, idiot.
Now, if your hands are a little cold, you rub them together, right? Despite your
No, actually, you just put them against your... Okay, so, all right, let them cook. But I put my hands underneath my shirt like this, under my armpits, like this. Okay, and you put them against... Because your heart is really warm.
Your first instinct, though, never rub anywhere you suspect might be catching frostbite. This'll only make things worse. A lot worse. Yeah, rubbing frostbite skin will just cause more tissue damage. It needs to be treated gently and given the chance to heal. Okay, so if we have the tools, how about starting a nice warm fire instead? Nope.
I think that 99% of people couldn't start a fire if you put the tools right in front of them. At least Americans.
Frostbitten skin is super sensitive and could easily be burnt by open flames.
Well, okay, yes, this is the same thing when you come in from outside. You don't want to just put your hands in like super hot boiling water immediately or ever. But like if you've ever run like super hot water over your super cold hands, your hands feel like super numb and shit. Yeah, it's because you're destroying the fucking sensory receptors in your hands.
Damn. So what can you do? Well, the best approach is to submerge any affected areas in warm water and
Warm water, not hot water. It's important to me that you guys understand that you don't do this fucking just boiling water. Just...
drink warm liquids, not hot. This will warm you up gently
See,
and
he
avoid
even said warm, not hot.
burns. But if you're still out in the cold, your priority should really be finding some shelter. Otherwise, no matter what you do, your skin will just refreeze anyway. Preferably that shelter will be somewhere with Netflix and room service.
Okay, so that tip was just get warm, idiot. Or just take shelter and get warm, idiot. Those are the two. Again, the biggest thing is that, again, you want to put your hands close to your heart and put them on your skin like this. Okay. And then you can kind of, like, you don't have to rub them against the side. Like he said, don't rub them. So, like, you can kind of just put them against that. But that's, like, the hottest part of your body. That's where the heat is coming from, is the heart pumping your blood.
Cactus cocktails.
What up, Kings and NZ? Hey, girl. What up, buddy?
Okay, let's say you're in the desert and you're desperately hot. Dehydration is setting in and you need some water fast.
Just shave your head, and then you won't be hot anymore because the sun's rays will come down, touch your immaculate scalp, and then be reflected.
You may have seen some old Western movies where the cowboy chops open a cactus and takes a drink from inside. Don't try this. It's not actually water inside the prickly plant. It's a noxious fluid that'll cause vomiting, diarrhea, and stomach pain.
Wait, really? The only species of cactus that have liquid water in it is fishhook barrel cactus. However, the water in the fish hook cactus and the watery pulp of the other cacti is very acidic. Holy shit. Okay, yeah, don't drink the water in the cacti.
If you're already dehydrated, the last thing you need is to be losing precious water by puking and pooping it all up. If you're very unlucky, the forbidden smoothie could even cause paralysis. Oh man, there is a single exception.
All right, don't eat the fucking cactus. It's important to me that you understand that you don't put the prickly pear fucking cactus in your mouth. That would be where you went wrong.
To this rule, the fish hook barrel cactus's juices can be ingested, though only in tiny quantities and only ever in an extreme emergency. This cactus is less likely to cause those unpleasant.
That's too much work. There ain't no fucking way that I'm walking by this. Don't worry, it's got water in it. Ah, fuck it. I'll just wait for it to rain.
Side effects, but it's still not worth the risk. A better option is the fruit of a cactus named the prickly pear. It's full of water and can be safely ingested, providing you remove all those spines. Unlike
Important
cactus
step.
goop, this cactus fruit is unlikely to lead to a weekend atop the porcelain throne, so the choice should be obvious. If you'd like some primo entertainment to watch while sat on your own porcelain throne, look no further. Hit those like and subscribe buttons to make sure you never miss another great video like this one. It could save your life.
It works.
Don't believe this. Anybody that's ever disturbed a nest of bees will know how terrifying the experience can be.
Yeah.
I just wanted a little honey. Bees and wasps are
Fuck no.
relentless.
Most of the time it's because I'm kicking a soccer ball or some shit and the fucking nest happened to be in the path of the goddamn ball.
And if they see you as a threat, then they'll make sure you know it. Dealing with one isn't much of a problem, but trying to swat a whole swarm? Good luck with that. The only thing to do is run and try and find somewhere safe to hide.
Yeah.
Whatever you do, though, if you see a pond or river, don't jump into it. Anonymous fraudsters claiming to be survival experts are adamant that because neither bees nor wasps like water, jumping into a lake or river and hiding beneath the surface will make them give up and buzz off. In reality, that's not the case at all. These stripy stingers are aggressive and super protective of their homes. If you've angered them, why would the short time you can hold your breath for be enough to dissuade them? They'll...
Well, if you stay under the water for a few minutes, it might help, but also, why the fuck, if you're running at full speed away from a fucking hive of bees, why the fuck would you take a detour for the fucking water and not just keep running? I don't know. Oh, let me strip naked and dive into the water.
They'll simply wait above the water for you. Okay, waiting for you is a bit dramatic. They won't literally hover and watch the spot where you went under, but they'll continue to search the area for you until you inevitably have to resurface. And when you do, it'll be beat down time once again. Only you'll have the added disadvantage of, being in water. So if you're ever chased by wasps or bees, stay on dry land and try and find...
Just run faster. Don't be morbidly obese. Solution.
...and shelter. Better yet, don't annoy them enough to chase you.
The Korean advice. Just don't disturb them, idiot.
Fire before shelter? You know how in movies you always get those scenes of people lost in the wilderness sleeping around a huge fire? It makes for a nice looking scene, sure, but in the
who in the fuck sleeps right next to the fucking fire like that? This is why you're fucking lost in the wilderness. You're too fucking stupid to understand spatial awareness.
Real world,
like who the fuck does this?
Fire shouldn't be anyone's priority. Shelter is much more important. For one, all it'll take...
You wake up and your boots are just fucking melted. I don't know how that happened.
Take is a spot of rain or some strong winds, and then that fire you put so much effort into is kaput. Plus,
you gotta put up a windscreen. Don't build a fucking fire in the middle of a field.
Fires need fueling and maintaining with wood, which will use a lot of your precious energy. Shelter, on the other hand, is effective from the moment it's set up and provides a safe place to sleep.
Why didn't I think of that? Instead of just collecting sticks and then setting them on fire, why don't I just go collect moss from every single fucking rock in the near vicinity? Then tie together a bunch of fucking sticks with the rope that I definitely brought with me and have on me. And perform and make a beautiful lean-to like this with absolutely no holes that is rainproof. Why didn't I think of that?
asleep when you eventually collapse from exhaustion. And trust me, you will. But what exactly should you be looking to build? Well,
A fucking cave. Just go find a fucking cave. Unless it's raining, in which case don't go in the fucking cave. Why don't you go in the cave when it's raining? Because the way caves are built, they are underground. Water run downhill. It go down. And so the cave fill up with big water and you go big dead.
you need some form of bed above all else. I'm not saying you
You don't need a fucking bed, bro. You sleep on the ground like a fucking man. Really, you can climb a tree is not bad if you can find like an area that you're not going to roll out of the fucking tree. If you can strap yourself to the tree. Everybody's always like, I don't know why I wouldn't just sleep in a tree. Because you're going to roll straight the fuck out of it, dumbass. The second you fall asleep, bam, you're done, bro. You're smoking the fucking ground. You got to strap yourself to the tree somehow. If you can't strap yourself to the tree, okay, well then the tree's really not a fucking super great option for you. Okay? Realistically, if it's not raining outside, a cave is a W. A cave is kind of a W. Also, if you just find anything that will cover you very lightly, you can just put leaves over the top of yourself. That will deter water. Leaves are hydrophobic, which means that they repel water. They're very lipid friendly.
need a king-size mattress and
Okay, so if you put a bunch of leaves over you, they will kind of drain the water off. Obviously, the water can run between the leaves, so you need to put a bunch of leaves over the top of you. But it is a good strategy.
heated blanket. You just need to make sure you're off the ground. It gets
Yeah, I mean, that's ideally, sure.
very, very cold at night, and you could easily...
Yeah, so the reason you get super cold at night is because the ground saps all of your body heat. And you will know this if you've ever laid on the ground, you can feel it. You can literally feel the ground literally just like pulling the heat out of your body. So he's right, you don't want to lay directly on the ground, but you can kind of just put some leaves and shit underneath you and you'll be fine. It'll keep you from like the ground basically sapping all of your heat.
If you're lying on it without protection. A simple makeshift mattress can be built by laying long branches out on the floor.
Oh, how comfortable.
Or then insulating your creation with lots of leaves or grass. If you've got any tools to hand, you could even...
Why didn't I think of that? My bad, chat. Just pull out your hatchet and the 90 feet of rope that you brought with you. Also, the canteen and the water supplies that you have. And start cutting up branches and make them into a fucking shelter. Yeah, that's my bad. Yeah. Honestly, if you have nails, that's also a W.
Even attach branches together and suspend your bed between two trees like a true survivalist. Only
This is falling down in the middle of the night. Yeah.
once you've got a place to sleep, should you focus on anything else, like a roof. And after the roof, then you can try and get around to that swimming pool you've always dreamed of. The quicksand question. Growing up, I thought that quicksand would be a much bigger threat in my life than it actually ended up being. Thanks, Andy. Outside of the movies, it's unlikely to swallow you.
Just walk out. Okay, next question.
In seconds if you accidentally touch it with your little toe. However, it can still trap you if you're not careful. Which
Yeah, if you stand on it for about an hour and a half, yeah, you're probably gonna die.
could be extremely dangerous if you don't know how to react. But what actually is it? Essentially, quicksand is loose sand or grit that's become so saturated with water that it behaves more like a liquid than a solid and can no longer hold weight very well.
You're losing your shoes for sure.
So here's the big question. If you get caught in it, do you think you should stay still or try to free yourself? I'm waiting.
Get the fuck
if you
out.
said stay still, wrong. Pop
I know, I'll just stand here for 2 more hours and hopefully my situation will improve.
culture has taught us that the best thing to do is avoid struggling and wait for someone to reach out with a handy stick.
Oh.
Outside of Tinseltown, though, this just isn't good advice. If you stay motionless,
What up, new boy? I'm doing great.
you'll never get free, especially if you don't have a friend with you to dramatically save you. That being said, don't flail around like a maniac either. What you should do is
Just-
lean backwards to distribute your weight evenly and make slow back and forth movements with your body to loosen the sticky sand's hold on you. It'll take a fair while, but it'll get you out of there alive, eventually. Humans.
People don't typically die to quicksand. People that look like they evolved from monkeys do, though. Those people die to quicksand all the time. They just stood there and the sand swallowed them. It'll get better, they said.
See, human don't. If you're lost out in the wilderness and your tummy starts rumbling, it could be very difficult to figure out what you can and can't eat.
I'm gonna make this really easy. Don't fucking eat anything.
Choose correctly and your chances of surviving increase significantly. But choose incorrectly and you could be in for a really bad time.
Yeah, I'm just gonna make this solution. Don't fucking eat anything. You're gonna die of dehydration and of the elements before you have to die of starvation.
So how do we...
The striker main? No, this is definitely more of a... That's probably your average Dracania.
tell?
You can see the drool coming out of his mouth.
If you said, take a look at what other animals are eating and copy them, then congratulations, you aren't surviving.
Congratulations! You've been naturally selected. You're like, for what? For a sweepstakes? Where's the sweepstakes taking me? Death. I like that.
Yet there's a common belief that if you see an animal eating something, it's safe for human consumption too.
Nope.
This should set off alarm bells for any sensible person. Humans and animals have completely different diets. Chocolate is deadly to a dog while it's my favorite treat. So any berries or plants that you might see a deer or bird chowing down on could be lethal.
Who the fuck thinks that? The same people that think Succession staff is viable in PvE. Same people. We can make it work. My stomach is tough, they said.
To you. There is a definitive method to find out if something is safe to eat, however.
Yeah.
The universal edibility test.
Oh, good.
In simple terms, it involves taking the plant or berry in question and gradually exposing your body to it to check for adverse reactions.
Don't fucking do this. Do not fucking do this. I walked up to the oleander and I put it in my hand and it didn't do anything, and then I rubbed it all over my hands and it didn't do anything, but then I ate it and I fell over and died in 20 minutes. Do not fucking do this. This casual fucking exposure. Don't fucking eat anything. Just don't fucking eat anything unless you know for sure it is edible fucking food and you know what it is 100%. Okay.
First, you check if it smells okay.
No, don't do that either, because a lot of them emit toxic aromas that can fucking kill you. Like mushrooms, for example. Have like there's like these bulb mushrooms out in the wilderness that like kind of look like this, and if you step on them, they give like a big plume of like fucking spores that will fucking kill you if you inhale them. Okay? Don't fucking just start inhaling shit. Bro, why is every fucking human, every low educated human goes up, I'm gonna sniff it. It's just, like, what are you doing?
Pear or almond are scents to avoid, as they could be a sign of cyanide. Then
Well, you can't say that. Now nobody...
okay. Pear or almond are scents.
Well, now nobody wants to eat pears or almonds anymore. Except in pears' case, of course. Of course, there is cyanide in pears, right? Like... Yeah, what's up? Corey Sensei, how you doing, buddy? Aaron Sid, thanks for that Prime sub, buddy. Really appreciate that. Thank you.
Scents to avoid, as they could be a sign of cyanide. Then you rub it on the inside of your elbow and wait 15 minutes. If it itches or hurts,
No. Don't do any of this. Don't. Bro, don't. This is some cap shit. Don't do any. You're gonna die. You're fucking die. If I walk up to you in the wilderness and I see you rubbing blueberries on your fucking elbow, I'm gonna think that you came into the wilderness with more chromosomes than everyone else did. And I'm gonna keep fucking walking. Have a great day. And I'm gonna keep fucking walking, because the closer I am to you, the more likely it is that you're gonna get me fucking killed.
throw the plant away. If not, pop a small part of it in your mouth and chew it for a few minutes.
No!
You're looking for bitterness, soapiness, or
No, just drop the oleander into your mouth. It's like blueberries. I was like, no, don't do that. Bro, again, don't eat anything. You are less likely to die to starvation. If you can't, all right, you're probably likely to die of starvation in probably 2 weeks if you get lost in the wilderness. But I'm going to be honest with you. You're much more likely to die of anything else before that 2 week period is up. And if you go for 2 weeks lost in the wilderness, you're probably already dead. Just don't fucking eat anything unless you know for sure it's going to be okay.
general tingliness and pain. If you get any of those, spit it out. If not, eat a little bit and wait 8 hours. Yes, 8 hours.
Oh, just wait 8 hours. But what if I die after 30 minutes? Hydration will kill you first. Exactly. The elements and dehydration.
Hours. But if you want to be sure it's safe, you're gonna have to be patient. If, finally, after that there are no side effects, you can eat the plant. Or at least the part of it you tested. Just because you can eat the leaf doesn't mean you can eat the stem. Jeez.
That's also a big... Honestly, I like that he said that because, like, that's also true. Like, you can eat fruits off of certain plants, but if you are like off of certain trees, but if you try to eat the bark, you're just dead. I don't know who the fuck walks up to trees and just goes, God, that looks like a fucking piece of meat right now. But those people should also probably be naturally selected out of the gene pool.
Sounds exhausting.
Those are the people that walk up to the tree and you say, yes, little Timmy, just eat the bark.
Right? But it's better to be exhausted than dead. Boiling bad. Food is important, but it's actually possible to survive for months without it. Water, however...
There it is. To be clear, you're not going to survive for months in the wilderness without food. It's possible to survive for months without food if you have constant source of water, you have shelter, air conditioning, heat. You know what I mean? If you're just like laying in your bed and just trying to starve yourself to death, yeah, it's going to take a few months. But in the wilderness, you're going to be burning a lot more energy than that. It'll take a week or two.
However, after just 3 days, you'll be sleeping with the fishes, who, incidentally, are plenty hydrated. So you'll want to find yourself some sweet H2O. You should prioritize running water, as it's less likely to be home to a load of critters than stagnant water.
That's big true. You should pick up rivers and streams and stuff. The faster the water is moving, the better off you're probably going to be. Microbacteria and microorganisms like stagnant water a shitload. They do not like this as much, although you will still get sick from the moving water too. So you have to boil it.
Water. Unfortunately, even then, most water you come across in the wild will be undrinkable. It's unclean and full of bacteria.
Realistically speaking, if you're really fucking super desperate, you just find the fastest moving water that you can, you scoop it, and hope for the best. But any real backpacker or person that's outdoors is gonna have one of the fucking tablets, or is gonna be able to boil the water, right?
Yeah.
But you really should not be drinking water
either.
As well
as catching diseases from it, it can also cause diarrhea, which ironically will make you lose more water than you gain.
Yep.
So what should you do? Well, it's fairly common knowledge that boiling dirty water can remove impurities and make it safe to drink. In an extreme scenario, however, you aren't likely to have a kettle and a power outlet to hand. You'll have to start a fire and boil your water in it.
Again, 99% of Americans, if you ask them to start a fire or they're going to die, are probably dead.
Any container that you can rustle up. Here's the catch though. Although boiling will kill harmful bacteria, it won't remove any dangerous chemicals or sediments that are lurking in there. So it still might...
Oh yeah, don't drink water if it's got a shitload of fucking dirt in it. What he said was not wrong. If you drink the fucking sediment, yeah, you're probably still gonna fucking die because you're too stupid not to know. Don't drink sand. But again, this is more of a natural selection IQ diff. Your water may have been boiling, but your IQ was lukewarm.
Might not be enough to save you. You should actually filter the water before boiling it wherever possible.
Thanks, Gilgamesh. Love it, buddy. Hey, hi. How you doing, buddy? Welcome. Thanks.
Best way to filter is to cover a container with a shirt or cloth and then place some crushed charcoal.
Oh, yeah, you can filter the water, too. Oh, what the fuck? Where the hell are you getting crushed charcoal from?
From your fire on top. Pour the water through the cloth into the container, and the charcoal will catch nasty contaminants while improving the taste as a little bonus. Sounds weird.
I don't feel like dropping my water through charcoal is necessarily going to improve the taste. That being said, I'm not super hip on dropping my water on the fire that just took a ridiculous amount of time to make. Okay? Probably not a good idea.
Weird, but don't knock it till you've tried it. Before even that, though, try and find the source of the water you're looking to drink. If you find that there's a bunch of dead rats in it or something, it may be best to look elsewhere.
All right, I'm going to be honest. The half these tips are just natural selection. If you took a fucking scoop of water from a giant-ass lake that just had a bunch of dead fucking fish in it, you deserve what's about to happen to you. I'm just saying.
Unless you enjoy that delicious rat-like zest. Following wing.
No.
We've already established just how important water is for you. I mean, us humans. Seeking out a good source of water is a priority in any survival situation. But what's the
I thought that bitch was going to scoop and drink, man.
best way to do it? Enter our next myth. Many claim that you can locate a water source by simply following birds in flight.
Who claims that, dude? What? Just follow the animal. It will be thirsty too eventually. Stalk the mountain lion. This can only end to good things.
Logic is that the airborne avians will be traveling to water themselves, so all you need to do
That is true. 600 miles from here.
is tag along and they'll lead you to it.
Realistically speaking, if you want to find water, the best way to do it is if you're in, like, let's say you're in a hilly area. Okay? You're up on a hill or something, right? Water always travels downhill, right? And you need to think of everything as like a canyon, right? There's mountains and there are valleys. There are mountains and there are valleys, okay? Water starts at the top of the mountain and then runs down, okay? And then as it runs through the gorge, the valleys get deeper, okay? So like over thousands of years, this valley gets deeper and deeper. So where are you most likely to find water? In the fucking valley. On the low ground.
And while some aquatic birds rarely
Running
leave
downhill.
the water's edge, others fly all over the place for a wide variety of reasons. For all you know, those birds could be
What if there's no valleys? Well, then it's flat enough for miles around that you should be able to find the water regardless. If you're walking on flat ground like this, you're probably in the valley. And you will just stumble into the water anyway. Okay? Or you can see for miles. Alternatively, you could be in the woods. Right? But again, you'll probably just stumble onto a creek at that point.
migrating to foreign lands or flying home to bed. So instead of looking up, keep an eye out for
This is why your mom is the most Jesus.
animals on the ground. They'll regularly travel to water and won't
Yes, they will.
wander nearly.
But just so you're clear, if you follow a fucking deer around, do you know what else follows deer around? Shit that can kill you. Okay? I'm just, as a warning, if you're just following a fucking deer, you're more likely to run into a major predator.
As far as our feathered friends. It takes a keen eye and some patience, but as long as you don't spook every animal in the area with your rendition of "I'm a survivor," it should pay off. A jellyfish joke.
I'm curious if this is true.
Their long flowing tentacles give nasty stings that cause searing pain, may leave barbs full of venom stuck inside you, and can even be fatal. But what if you do get stung? Well, I can tell you what not to do. Somewhere, somehow, a rumor emerged that taking a whiz on a jellyfish sting would help with the immense pain. What? I wish I was kidding. Now I'm...
Okay. I need to know if this is true. Remember that if you're at the beach and someone gets ashore with a jellyfish sting, despite what you may have heard, it's a myth that peeing on a jellyfish sting is anything to ease the pain. Okay, so just to be clear, up until this exact moment here, if one of my homies on the beach ran ashore with a jellyfish sting, I would have already been unzipping. I'm just that good of a friend.
not so sorry to break it to you, but this simply doesn't work. Taking a leak on a sting can actually cause stinging cells to release even more venom and make the
It's on an episode of Friends. It's exactly what I was saying. Like, I'm pretty sure it's Monica that gets stung, I think.
pain worse, not better. See, the whole reason this crazy myth even came into being was because people thought the ammonia in our urine could neutralize the venom of the sting. In reality, it does nothing at all and can in fact activate the stinging cells. But
Interesting. Honestly, this is kind of just a tragedy. You've taken away the only instance in which peeing on your friend might get them to say thank you. Lost memories.
why? Well, jellyfish live in the sea, which is composed of salt water. If the stinging cells are exposed to any change in the balance of salty solution they're used to, they're set off. Urine does not have the same salt content as salt water, or at least it shouldn't, so it activates the stingers and makes the pain worse. The same goes for fresh water. Experts agree that the correct thing to do is remove any barbs in the affected area and then wash it thoroughly with salt water. Long story short, peeing
Okay, I learned that. That's new.
on either yourself or your stung pal won't provide any pain relief. Try saying that 3 times fast. Beat the heat.
Uh-oh.
When you're on vacation, showing some skin can be a good way of building a nice tan and staying a little cooler.
That's why he looks so good. It has nothing to do with the hundreds of hours of exercise. He's bald. He's hotter this way.
But if you're stranded in an oppressively hot place like a desert, the last thing you want to do is shed the layers.
Yeah.
Unless you're wearing wildly inappropriate and heavy clothing, a good garment will keep you cool. First and most
Yeah, everybody that actually lives in a desert keeps their skin covered at all times.
obviously, clothes reduce the amount of direct sunlight hitting your skin, minimizing any overheating and potential sunburn. Second, as you get hot, you sweat and water leaves your body in an attempt to cool you down. Without clothes, it evaporates and leaves you dehydrated.
That's not the only thing it does. It gives you sunburn and shit too, which is like has all kinds of adverse effects. You really want to try to avoid sunburn and like as much sun exposure as you can avoid as
With
possible.
them, the sweat is trapped and creates a cool layer on your skin that also hydrates it slightly.
Oh, really? It's just like, honestly, like, okay, that is true. But really, it's just the fact that it's like your shirt is like SPF 100, bro.
Nice. People living in areas like the Middle East have worn long, light, flowing clothing for thousands of years for these exact reasons. These clothes are also
Yeah, you can spot the American because they're in the two-piece bikini.
traditionally white, the color that reflects the most sunlight. So there you go. They aren't just snazzy fashion statements, and you're better off covering up than stripping off in the hot sun. In
Wait, you didn't cover the other guy's nipples, but you...
fact, you're better off covering up wherever you are. I don't want to see it. Sorry.
This guy just doesn't even have nipples.
Whiskey warmth. From partying to drowning your sorrows, there are lots of good and not so good reasons people drink alcohol. One good reason not to drink it, however, is to warm yourself up if you're dangerously cold. Yet people have
Who the fuck does that? Who the fuck is super cold and is like, let's pop open a cold one for the boys? Fireball warms me up. That's because you start screaming.
believed it works for absolutely ages. St. Bernard dogs are often pictured with small barrels of meat around their neck for this very reason. Back in the 1800s, the heroic doggos would be sent out into snowstorms to rescue lost travelers, and urban legends say they brought booze with them to warm the frozen people. Alcohol
No, it's to make the hurting stop.
does create a warm feeling in the body, so it's somewhat understandable that this myth became so widespread. But what's really happening? Well, when you drink alcohol, it causes your blood vessels to dilate, which gives you that warm buzz as blood rushes to your skin.
Nice.
The problem is, in cold environments, your body's main defense is to push less blood to your skin and instead keep your core warm with it. So despite what it feels like, alcohol actually makes you colder. And that's not all. Booze also reduces shivering, another of your body's warming techniques. When you shiver, your muscles contract rapidly, creating energy that warms you up. Without this, you're gonna get colder faster. If that wasn't already enough reason to avoid a martini,
In fairness, you could argue that it steadies your hands and stuff, so that if you're trying to free yourself from a very enclosed position or something, yeah, not shivering could probably fucking help for a little bit.
In a snowstorm, alcohol also causes you to sweat. Considering sweating is literally designed to cool you
dehydrates you.
down, it's the last thing you want to be doing if you're already freezing. So yeah, avoid the beer and concentrate on getting out of the cold as quickly as possible, then feel free to have a cocktail or 3. Don't bring the heat.
What?
Right, so you're lost in the wilderness, but you've managed to stumble across a cave.
Cave. W.
For shelter. Let's say that this cave isn't home to a hungry bear and is prime real estate to ensure your survival. Whatever you do, do not start a fire. You may have seen
Y'all aren't stupid enough to start a fire in a cave, right? Like, there ain't no fucking way. Why don't you start a fire in the middle of a fucking cave? What does fire burn more than anything else? Oxygen. Oxygen.
seen campfires in caves in every movie and TV
You can put it at the mouth of the cave, though.
show under the sun, but it can actually be an incredibly dangerous thing to do.
It's the rocks collapsing above you? Yeah, also the rest of the cave catching fire.
Produces heat. Duh. Which is great for your chilly toes, but not so great for the cave. That's because heat causes rock to expand, so a fire could cause the rocks in the
That is also true, but it's really unlikely that the fucking heat from your fire, like, okay, if you make a fire that's this big, yeah, you're probably gonna fucking die of an avalanche. But most of the time, fires are pretty small. Okay, so like probably not gonna superheat the fucking rock above you in such a way that it's gonna get you killed. Now, that being said, this right here, this is still not gonna cause these rocks. You know why? Because the heat escapes out this little hole here. I'll be okay. As long as the fire is close enough to the edge of the fucking cave, you're gonna be fine. Because the heat will just escape. The gas wants to move upwards. Okay? It's not gonna stick around under here. In most cases. Some of it will, but
ceiling to change shape just enough that the structure becomes unstable. Causing a cave-in is hardly a useful survival technique. Even
really, it's that like oxygen and CO2 poisoning.
if your fire doesn't cause your cave to collapse, it'll soon fill up with smoke. An important outdoors tip known only to experts is that you need to breathe to stay alive. Polluting
True.
a confined space with smoke will make this super.
That is the much bigger danger. I'll be honest with you, the rocks collapsing on your head, less likely. Okay, this killing you right here because it's so far from the mouth of the cave, that was probably going to kill you. Too much smoke in a confined area like this, and the fire is consuming all of the oxygen in the area. You're just poisoning yourself.
difficult. If you need a fire for any reason, your best bet is probably to start one just outside the cave.
There it is.
That way you avoid these dangers but still have your camp near shelter. Oh, and don't build that fire near anything dry or flammable either. Fire, hot. Oh, fire.
Bigger fire, good.
Danger.
Signal fire.
Tough guy tonic. If heaven
I like it's like a video for people whose IQ is below 70.
forbid the worst happens and you find
Americans.
yourself wounded while out in the middle of nowhere, you've got to take care of it fast. In an ideal situation, rubbing alcohol or surgical spirit should be used to clean around a wound and prevent infection. But
You ain't got no fucking rubbing alcohol, big dog. You ain't got no fucking rubbing alcohol. I'm just gonna be honest.
it shouldn't enter the wound itself.
If it's really fucking bad, just tourniquet above the fucking wound and hope that you find help soon.
You probably won't have any of that though. So how about ordinary alcohol? In Hollywood, tough guy heroes will often pour whiskey into a
Sylvester.
recent wound to clean it. It looks badass, sure,
It is.
but it's not a good idea in a real survival scenario.
It's not. Mainly because most alcohol doesn't have the proof on it that you need to really cleanse the wound. Right? However, if it's like fucking tequila or something like really fucking strong, you bet your ass if you're drinking boat cleaner, absolutely. But you probably don't want to dump the boat cleaner on your skin, so there's that.
Strong drinking alcohol will disinfect a wound, but it's also likely to kill healthy cells and delay healing.
Okay, but it's still better to kill the fucking bacteria. Honestly, you're taking the lesser of two evils.
And you'll
Ever
want
clear,
any
yeah.
wound to heal as quickly and smoothly.
One of the big things I don't think he's probably going to cover is that you need to make sure that the wound is open in most cases. Okay, especially if you can't like cauterize it or like, well, definitely don't cauterize it in most cases. But like, especially if you can't like clean the wound, you kind of just want to leave it open but clean, as clean as you can, but like open. Most people try to like put bandages and put a bunch of shit over the top of it. In this case, there are things that there are two types of bacteria that you're concerned about. One, there are types of bacteria that die when they're exposed to oxygen. And those bacteria are really scary. And two, there are types of bacteria that grow when they're exposed to oxygen. You kill most of those bacteria when you clean the wound initially. Okay. Then if you leave it open, the other type of bacteria dies because there's oxygen is allowed to reach the wound and it kills the bacteria. If you constantly cover it with bandage after bandage after bandage without allowing it to breathe at all, you're actually allowing that bacteria to culture.
As possible in an emergency where every second counts. Ideally, you want to apply pressure to the cut and use clean water to wash it with.
Yep.
If that
Boiling water. Honestly, yeah. Jumping boiling water on yourself, not exactly a great idea, but just under boiling water probably cleanses the wound. It's going to hurt. It's going to give you a first-degree burn, but it might just save your life from dying of sepsis.
That's not possible. Booze can be used, but only as a last resort. Seems like a waste of some perfectly good booze to me.
Fuck that, he's a man.
Sometimes sacrifices must be made. Camel logic. To drink or not to drink? That is the question.
Just fucking drink. If you're thirsty, drink.
When stranded in a desert or any other hot location.
First of all, I just want to point out that earlier I made a joke about being able to spot the American in the desert. I found them.
Water is a precious commodity. Do you drink that bottle in your backpack or do you save it for later? You probably think the sensible thing to do is to hold on to it.
You're fucking kidding me right now. You were like, I gotta protect my head. I don't want the sun's rays all over my fucking head. And then you put on a goddamn fucking t-shirt and shorts. Winner.
And eke it out as much as possible. You'd actually be wrong. There's absolutely no reason to save water if you're lost in the wilderness.
Correct.
Wait, what? Hear me out. If you're thirsty, you need water.
Yep.
Extreme thirst can sap your strength and cognitive abilities, two things you'll need to use to stay alive. And the best place to store your water is in your body, not your backpack.
That way you don't have to carry it and spend the manpower carrying it.
It could give you the boost you need to find shelter, more water, or even rescue. So instead of rationing your water, concentrate on reducing your body's water loss. Avoid strenuous...
Yeah, you do still need to ration your water. It's, like you definitely still want to make sure that you're not just downing it all initially, okay?
Activity during the hardest part of the day. Breathe through your nose rather than your mouth, and keep as much of your skin covered as possible. Be like a camel. Move slowly and store water in your hump. Geronimo! What? Picture the scene. You're on an adventure trekking through foreign lands when suddenly a mighty beast jumps out of a patch of trees and starts coming at you. Naturally,
you are dead. You are fucking dead. Unless you have a gun hidden in those britches.
You run away as fast as you can. But what if you realize you're running straight towards the edge of a cliff?
Jump.
Jeepers. You've probably seen videos of daredevils or scenes in action movies of people leaping from incredible heights into water.
Yep.
They're always fine, right? So maybe you'd take the plunge rather than face the beast.
Yeah.
I'm here to slap some sense into you. That is a terrible idea.
If you are being chased by a full fucking grown tiger, as he has demonstrated in this video, I'm jumping. You can stay here and fight that thing. I'm going to take a jump. Okay? Good luck, buddy. Good luck. And you jump into crocodile water, I'll take my chances. Because if I stay on this mountaintop, I'm dead. If I jump, I'm still probably dead, but it's a lower percent chance. Fight the tiger like a man. Yeah, it's what you do. If you and your friends see a bear in the wilderness, like really close to you, you guys all stay here. I'm gonna go get help. And then you just start fucking running. Okay? And it's not important that you're the fastest runner. It's just important that you're faster than the slowest guy. As long as you're not the slowest, you're going to be just fine. Same thing with the tiger.
After falling from a high place at high speed, the water surface may as well be concrete when you land.
Yeah, okay, but you can mitigate this a little bit. Okay, obviously, yeah, it might as well be concrete when you land. But don't fucking land on your side like a moron. Okay? You'll notice in the fucking clip just before this.
Here to slap some...
Right there, he puts his feet in the water first. Okay? If you minimize the amount of surface area that you are actually plunging into the water with, it will hurt less. A lot less.
Action movies of people leaping from incredible...
It's all about surface tension. See, just like he did right there. Okay? If he hit it like a fucking belly flop, yeah, he's probably gonna die.
The water, they're always fine, right? So maybe you'd take
hydrogen
the plunge
bonding.
rather than face the beast.
There ain't
I'm
no
here to
fucking
slap
way.
some sense into you. That is a terrible idea. After falling from...
If this motherfucker is waiting for me on the top of the mountain, I'm out. I am jumping. We are fucking done.
From a high place at high speed,
Cup your
the
balls.
water surface may as well be concrete when...
Also, you kind of want to, you don't want your legs to necessarily be completely straight. Although I will be honest with you, if the water is not deep enough, you're probably going to die anyway. So just straighten your legs.
You land. Jeez. Jumping from just 20 feet will cause you to slam into the water at around 25 miles per hour.
Still alive. I'd rather slam into the water at 25 miles an hour than that tiger slam into me.
At this speed, the water molecules at the surface won't be able to displace themselves fast enough to cushion you,
Hydrogen
causing the
bonding.
water to act more like...
Honestly, it's kind of annoying that this is... What the fuck is this? What the fuck is that? Water is H2O. O. H. What the fuck is that? That's some fucking tetrahedral shit.
Like a solid. Think about it. Normally, if you place your hand gently into water, there's barely any resistance. That's because the molecules have enough time to spread throughout the rest of the water.
That's an excellent point. What calamity level is the tiger?
Pushing minimal force back at you. The quicker you hit those molecules, however, the less time they have to move and the more resistance you're met with. That's why you could break bones from falling into water too fast. Cliff divers are specially trained to land in the water properly, and even then are often surrounded by medics or emergency personnel just in case something goes wrong.
True.
Even if you land in the water with the perfect form, the impact can still be strong enough to compress your spine.
Specimen.
Ugh. Basically, don't jump off cliffs. It's probably a worse idea than facing whatever beastie may be.
If it's a fucking tiger or a mountain lion, you're jumping off the cliff. If it's a moose, you're still jumping.
After you. Shark bait. We've established jumping into water from up high isn't such a good idea, but sometimes the fall isn't the biggest danger. Sharks are the apex predators of the sea.
Of the ocean? Where's the cliff in the ocean?
Strong, fast.
What? A crocodile, sure, he could have gone with a hippo, crocodile, fucking other animals in the water, big ass fucking fish. A fucking shark?
And with a mouth filled with razor sharp teeth.
Plus, sharks don't want anything to do with you. You're a fucking human.
They're capable
Every time one of their kind attacks a human, Larry just fucking disappears.
of really ruining your day. But is there anything you can do if you find yourself on the wrong side of these ferocious fish? Well, many people reckon you can defend yourself from a shark attack by punching the predator in the nose.
Nah, just don't fucking... No, step one, don't be bleeding. Probably won't bother you if you're not bleeding. Step two, if you are bleeding... Dead. Probably dead. But in most cases, the shark's not going to be big enough to eat you. You could probably just beat the shit out of it, if I'm being honest.
Nose. This sounds a lot.
If you are in deep enough water that you have a big enough fucking shark that it can actually eat you, I would like to know what cliff you jumped off of. To be honest, where in the fuck is this mythical cliff in the middle of the goddamn ocean with all the with all the great white sharks living around it.
Not easier than it is, though. If you're facing off against a shark, you're gonna be in water. Have you ever tried throwing a punch underwater? It's not easy. Water puts up so much resistance that you're highly unlikely to be able to put enough oomph behind a blow to do any damage. On top of that, you'd be placing your hand dangerously close to the shark's mouth.
True.
Remember those knife-like teeth? Yeah. You'd basically be giving the guy a free lunch. Want a better idea? Poke the predator in the eye instead. You don't need...
Why didn't I think of that? Yeah. You're absolutely right. Why didn't I fucking think of that? You mean the little fucking eye right here? Yeah, that little thing right there. Yeah, I'm not fast enough to punch it at reasonable speed. But you think that this fucking thing that has been evolving for billions or millions of years, that is adapted to the ocean, isn't gonna fucking strafe away from me when I come after its eye? Fuck that! You can rip into a fucking gill, though. You could probably rip a fucking gill in half, though.
Remember those knife-like teeth?
And also, these motherfuckers are not gonna bother you unless you are bleeding.
Yeah. You'd basically be giving the guy a free lunch. Want a better idea?
They don't want to fuck with
the
you.
predator in the eye instead. You don't need much force to damage such a sensitive area. If that fails, attack the gills. It's how the beast breathes, so digging your fingers in them will make things very uncomfortable for your attacker.
Oh yeah, there it is, right there.
And if you can try to use a weapon, anything you have to...
Why didn't I think of that? Just pull the surfboard that is designed to float above the water. You just pull that under the water and then just start beating it repeatedly with that. Why didn't I think of that? Oh, that's right, because the surfboard will immediately try to resurface itself.
Hand. A surfboard, a stick, whatever. It'll do more damage and minimize the risk of getting...
Rock, though!
That being said, these techniques should be last
Nighty-night, Tony.
resorts. Sharks rarely attack humans and can
There it is. I watched Shark Week.
Usually be avoided or deterred. So if you spy one of these aquatic animals, your first move should be to swim calmly away.
Yeah.
It's difficult for me because I look like such a snack, but if I can manage it, you can too. Moss taken. Nowadays, practically everybody has a GPS in their pocket in the form of a smartphone, but that wasn't always the case. Believe it or not, there was a time when humans had to actually use their wits to get from A to B. A persistent myth claims that if you end up lost in the woods, moss can be used as a sort of compass.
Moss only grows on the fucking north side of the tree. Looks at the fucking tree. Everywhere is north?
Because it only grows on the north side of trees. So all you'd need
Yeah, there it is.
to do to orient yourself is find a tree with some moss, check what side it's on, and bingo.
I have an idea, and this is going to sound crazy, but
Except
the giant floating ball of energy in the sky that you pray to every day for help and support, that always comes up in the same place, in the east. In the east. And then it always sets in the west. Always, always, always. And the moon does the same fucking thing. East to west. East to west. The problem with the moon is that it's not always 180 degrees on the other side of the earth as the sun. Okay, so if the earth is the one in the middle here, the moon can be technically like here, or it could be there, or it could be there. Okay, like it could be in a number of different places, but it's always east to west.
That's a downright lie. Moss does mostly grow on the north-facing side of trees and rocks, but only...
Well, actually, it grows on like the side of the slope that actually gets the most sun.
in the northern hemisphere. In the southern hemisphere, it grows on the south side more often.
It grows fucking everywhere. Please, it hurts my feelings that he's fucking even saying this when the previous... What hemisphere is this guy in?
Moss. Check what side.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, the North Star is also a good one at night. Yep. That's Polaris, but most people don't know how to locate Polaris.
Does mostly grow on the north-facing side of trees.
He's in the hemisphere. Yeah, why didn't I think of that?
And right side more off places. Even so, it's never a guarantee.
He's showing pictures where the moss is literally the entire fucking tree, dude. Like, this is exactly my point. This is how it is in both hemispheres. Okay? Actually, it like, oh my god, bro. I can't. Honestly, I feel like it would make sense that the moss grows on the east slope because that's where the sun rises and that's where the dew and like the dew point is going to be hit in the morning. And so where it's going to get the most moisture to kind of grow. If I had to guess.
That'll grow on either side.
But that honestly, that's too much science.
It could grow anywhere. So don't rely on it to navigate, alright? Now, see if you can think of a witty moss pun to end this, cause I'm stumped. Bare
Reported.
knuckle.
What's this?
Let's be honest, neither you nor I could take a bear in a fight. Doesn't
Speak for yourself. Yeah, there was that one guy that did it successfully for a long time before he was eaten by the bears that he studied.
matter how buff you are, and trust me,
There was that guy that was like, oh yeah, bears are docile, we should be able to live with them. And he lived with them for a really long time until he and his girlfriend were both mauled by a bear. In fairness, it was not the bear that, yeah, grizzly man. In fairness, it was not the bear they were studying. It was another bear that had walked into their campsite. Still dead, though.
buff. But the bear is buffer. And they're everywhere, from Alaska to Norway. So you just might end up stumbling
Nope. You stay here. I'm going to go get help.
across one. If you do, you might have heard that playing dead is a surefire way to get rid of the burly beast.
It is in some cases. If it's a black bear, you need to fucking run. I'm going to make this really easy for you guys. If it's a black bear, get the fuck out of there. Their IQ is too high. They know. They're not idiots. They can also climb trees, so good luck with that. However, if you climb a tree, you can prevent it from coming up towards you because it has to climb up snout first. And if you climb the tree, you can look down on it and kick the shit out of it. Okay, so that is definitely a viable strategy. Okay, grizzly bears are fucking idiots. And you can play dead to get away from them.
Nope. But it
Sometimes. It'll play with you like a toy and then just walk away.
could be a surefire way to get you killed.
Yeah, notice it's a black bear.
Okay, sometimes playing dead is the right call, but it's entirely dependent on the type of bear that's hassling you. If you
Damn!
find yourself attacked by a black bear,
Run.
don't even think about it.
Run.
These guys are scavengers,
We're
so
out.
you'll just look like a free meal if you lay down.
Yep, let him cook.
You'll want to calmly escape to a secure place if possible. If that's not possible, make yourself look as big as you can by puffing your chest out and holding your arm.
Also true. You can intimidate the shit out of them. They're smart little fuckers, but like if you... You're gonna look like a total freak. Okay? Okay, you start growling at them, you start yelling, you get really loud. If you get really, really loud, they get scared of that. You have to be really loud though. I mean, scream. Like you're like screaming at it.
Arms up in
Yeah, kind of like you're playing like a game of League of Legends and your top laner is pushing. Like contractions are 3 minutes apart and there's Stevie Wonder with no words.
the air. The bear might overestimate you and leave. If it doesn't, you're gonna have to hit it, preferably on its face and muzzle. Make sure you don't try this on a grizzly though. They'll tear you to pieces.
Yep.
Indeed, if a grizzly
Grizzlies are much bigger.
bears down on you, then you should play possum. Lay flat on your stomach and place your hands behind your neck to cover it.
Yep.
After that, you've just got to pray that fierce furball loses interest.
Correct.
Not ideal, I know, but if you really want
Damn, bro, I kind of nailed
the
that.
best chance of surviving a bear attack, make sure you have bear pepper spray on hand. Or just stay out of bear territory altogether.
If you, okay, bear spray is to keep the bear from like naturally coming near you. If you try and spray a bear with bear spray at fucking point blank, the thing is probably going to eat you. All right, it's kind of like bear spray is really just meant to kind of like douse the odor of your food and fucking like your pack and shit.
Together, you're unlikely to get a sing-song about the bare necessities out of them. Snowbend.
Serious talk, I have a dilemma. It's 8:50 a.m. and my neighbor's cat came in through the window. I just found him sleeping in my couch. What do I do? Neighbor's cat? Your cat. Nah, I just let it chill and tell your neighbor that you have their cat.
Benefit. Water everywhere and not a drop to drink. When dehydration sets in, you need to act fast. But if you're somewhere snowy, surely you could just eat the snow, right? After all, it's frozen water. Bingo. Well, that's exactly the...
That is actually kind of true, but like, yeah, there are still microorganisms that will... if you're gonna eat snow, you want to cup it from like the top of like the very top layer. If you dip down too far, you get soil or you get any sort of ground in there. If it touches the ground, it has a much higher chance of microorganisms being in there. You're probably gonna eat it in a bad way. If you just take it off the top, very few microorganisms are going to be on snow in that case.
Problem. It's frozen water. The body needs to put in a heck of a lot of work in order to heat and melt that snow to make it usable.
It's melted before it hits the stomach.
Organs wind up in
The fuck do you mean?
overdrive and extra energy is used, leaving you more dehydrated than you were before. On top
Nah. It's not like there's snow going into your intestines. All right.
of that, ingesting a lot of freezing
It costs calories. Well, so does everything that you do. You could drink normal water and have it cost calories too.
cold snow could easily lead to hypothermia.
Well, I mean, if you eat like a fucking... If you literally take your mouth and go into the fucking snow like a Neanderthal, then yeah.
If you're already cold. Not fun. Snow can be used to hydrate yourself, but you'd need to melt the snow first, then drink the water. Don't let your organs
Yeah, you can do that too.
do all the work. They do so much for you already.
Good luck melting the snow. How are you going to melt the snow? I'm curious. How the fuck are you going to melt the snow in a driving snowstorm like this? What are you going to do, light a fire? Fuck no. You're going to put it next to your body, and your body heat's going to fucking cool it off. Or it's going to warm it up. And take energy. You're damned if you do, and damned if you fucking don't, in this case. Just eat the fucking snow. Just don't eat the snow from the bottom layer.
As it is. Oh, and one last thing. For Pete's sake, don't melt and drink yellow snow. Do I really need to say why?
Explain it to me.
Venom slurp. Admit it, we all believe this next one at some point. If your pal is unfortunate enough to be bitten by a seriously
Dude, that sucks. And then you call 911.
venomous snake, you're supposed to suck the venom from the wound, right? Ha! I wouldn't recommend it. This myth has been propagated in books, movies, TV shows. Whatever the medium, somebody's chugged a snake venom smoothie out of someone else's bite. The reality is you'll never be able to suck out all the venom. You'll only end up adding bacteria from your mouth to the wound. On top of that, if you had any open wounds in your mouth or throat for the venom to enter, you'd wind up with some of it in your own bloodstream too.
You are dead. Don't fucking do... The venom hits the bloodstream so fucking quickly, there is absolutely no fucking way you could literally suck the venom out. And even if you did, like he said, you're probably going to die because you probably have an open wound somewhere.
If either you or your pal do find yourselves full of serpentine nastiness, the best thing to do is head straight to a hospital.
That's right.
In the US, most snake anti-venom is universal, so you shouldn't have to waste time trying to snag a photo of the offending animal. Unfortunately, there's no crazy life hack that can help with a scenario like this. Your only option is to get that anti-venom administered as quickly as possible.
Yep.
If you do waste time trying to suck the venom out, well, somebody is likely to end up popping their clogs. So leave the straws at home, people. Forbidden lemonade. Let's say you've been separated from your mom at the mall. How long do you have? No food, no resources. At what point will you need to start drinking your own pee to survive?
How long did your mom leave for? Jesus. Are you sure you didn't mean dad? You just went to go get milk. I started drinking my own pee after about a week.
Okay. You're probably not going to be at the mall if you're seriously contemplating this.
There's also probably, I don't know, a fucking water fountain around?
Let's say you're in the middle of the desert.
Okay,
the
better.
temptation would be there, I know, but I'm sorry to say drinking your own special brew will not hydrate you at all. Eh? But it's a liquid, right? Yeah, but think about it. If you're dehydrated, it means
It's not technically true. technically it will rehydrate you a little bit, but your kidneys do an amazing job of filtering down all of the usable water from your urine. However, if you're particularly well hydrated at the start of your walk and you start peeing regularly, drinking the urine absolutely will continue to hydrate. That's why your urine's fucking clear, bro.
You don't have enough water in your
if your urine's like fucking yellow as shit, yeah, it's probably not gonna help.
System to begin with. So the vast majority of what comes out
Also, yeah, if it looks fucking orange, seek medical attention.
of Junior down there won't be water. It'll be waste products like toxins, pollutants, and salts. The very opposite of the things you want if you're dehydrated. And as your system battles with the toxic juice you just swallowed, you'll dehydrate even further. Strangely, survival experts like Bear Grylls have promoted riding the yellow wave for years. Well, guess what? It doesn't matter if you saw it on TV, it's a load of hooey. Anybody that's drank their own urine to survive and made it through did so in spite of drinking the smelly stuff, not because of it. If you really want to sample your own brand, organize a tasting session in the comfort of your own home, where you can have barf bags on standby.
That is fucked.
And on that disgusting note, that's all the survival myths I can tackle for one day.
All right. Oh my god. Whoopsie doodles. Here's the video right here. I liked it. Go interact with the video. Give him a sub. Give him a like. That was a good video. It was a good video. He's got a lot of subscribers. He's got almost 12 million subscribers. I liked half of the video. The other half, I was like, bro, don't do that. Don't do that.